Hey, straight up, I'm serious. Welcome to the King-Abrams show. Dr. Brian King.
Yes, how are
It's
you?
always so refreshing to see your face.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'm so sorry that I'm like dressed down today. I will tell you, I'm on vacation with my family. We're in Arizona, and it's like super, super hot here. So I can't. I didn't pack anything but t-shirts. I wasn't thinking about the show. Usually I try to wear a button down or something. It's not like I look as good as you, but I try to put a little bit of effort into my
You,
appearance. Today,
you do. And we see we have a different background. You have a different background every show.
I
And you have a different type of shirt every show.
know. I just changing it up for the fans.
Maybe we should like do it like a quick 5-minute segment as a regular to talk about your shirt every show.
That would be amusing for like one person, I think.
You know, um, you're such a wonderful personality. I don't think it matters. You could have like a pile of cow shit on your head, and I think we could still make it work.
I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that one of these shows. I'm gonna try it.
Hey, uh, wow, what a week it's been in the news, and for me personally.
Yeah.
Although I have to be completely honest with you, we had one show with like 2 shows ago. Last week we had Daphne Springs, very funny comedian. And then prior to that we had Buddy Lewis. And I think I posted something on social media that said, I'm just saying the beans got spilled on the show with Buddy
Mhm.
Lewis. And so what I did was talk a lot. I remember we talked a lot about peanut butter.
Yeah, we did. It was
We
a
did. And for those who don't know, peanut butter is my nickname, my nasty nickname for the guy that I'm seeing. Dr. Brian King has labeled him my long-term fuck buddy,
right.
which I don't like. It's a label that I don't like, although it's accurate,
It
I
works. I mean, it's an
suppose.
easy way. Yeah, sometimes it's the easiest way to communicate something to other people.
Yeah, yeah. But I
Yeah.
spilled a lot of beans, and let's just say, because the start of the show, we usually talk about our sex lives. So we'll get on to you in a second. But I've got the burning desire, and AA. For those that don't know, I'm a sober alcoholic. I'll be sober 8 years, August 3rd this year. And in AA, at the end of the meeting, sometimes we have what you call a burning desire, and it's sort of the opportunity for a member to share for about 3 to 5 minutes on something that may be off topic, but it's just a burning desire. So I have a burning desire. It's just a topic I want to talk about. I can't talk about it though. That's the problem, because I spilled so many beans a couple weeks ago on the show that I had a conversation with my current interest today, and I feel like I should be more diplomatic in how I sort of cover my
Did
love life, if you will,
did
on the
peanut
show.
butter listen to the show and have objections?
I would say he listened to a part of the show. I no, he did not
Mhm.
have objections. We are two very grown up people,
So
and we're very aware. And he's smart, and I'm smart, and so we
the point that I'm going with though is
yeah,
that nobody knows who peanut butter is.
no,
You're not public about it in any way on social media or otherwise. Maybe it's a few people in your personal life and maybe peanut butter's personal life who knows like who each other is. But other than that, I mean, anything you talk about in reference to peanut butter is going to be relatively anonymous.
yeah. I think it is anonymous, and I'm very careful about how I speak my truth. I always tell the truth. In fact, I told him today, and I've said this before in my 46 years of living. I've said that I feel like I am sort of on the spectrum. Like I have a daughter. My youngest daughter has autism, and just in raising her, I feel like maybe I got a little bit of that. And I sometimes it's hard for me to tell how much honest is too honest.
Right, right.
And I certainly don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And I don't think I hurt his feelings. But I think that I could do such a thing. I don't want to even the ex that's come back, the player, the guy that inspired the writing of my book. I have to be. I feel like I have to be careful about how I divulge and just sort of speak in general terms, because you're right. 2 years, it's a long-term fuck, but let's just say it's just occurred to me this last few days that 2 years is a long goddamn time.
That's a relationship
with somebody.
Yeah. Like, I don't care what you call it, what you label it. That's a relationship.
It's
2 years.
Yeah.
That's longer than most of my marriages.
Yeah. So so yeah, we had a talk, and I think we met up with intentions of having another physical rendezvous, and it just turned out to be a talk. It was one of those situations, which is why I have this burning desire. And I feel like I said, I don't think I hurt his feelings. I think, we're both grown-ups who know what's happening, and we were just able to sort of get it on the table. But I feel I have some decisions to make, Dr. Brian King. And what I need to do? I need to talk to you, like outside, like offline. Because one, you're my friend. Two, you're a fucking clinical doctor and psychologist with a specialty in sexual behaviors, which, that certainly applies to my personal situation. And I just need advice. Like I'm calling all the men in my life. Like my dad, I called my dad. I asked my brother for advice, and now I need to talk to you, because I how fucked up would it be if I got back with the player? Let's just be blunt.
That would be super.
Where are your jokes?
That would be super fucked up. But I will say, it would not be. It would not be completely off base, given if anybody's read the book, and if anybody's if you spell out your history of dealing with of being with certain types of dudes and so forth, and then there's like a certain type of woman who if you have a type, you have a type. It's just that some people have a type where I want a man who treats me like shit. You know what I mean? It is literally the case, though. It's like
maybe. I had
terrible dudes. So we wouldn't, as your fans and as your friends and people in your life, we wouldn't want that to happen unless things were better and we knew they were going to be better or whatever. But if it happened, it's not the sort of thing that's going to surprise people. And enough about your own behavior and so forth to know that it could happen.
It could happen. Well, he's got a long way to go, and I'm, like I said before, I'm at the stage where I'm just observing, and I'm not making any rash decisions. I'm in no rush. I'm still seeing Peanut Butter, and I am still listening to the player.
I was expecting your talk with Peanut Butter to end a little different. I was expecting you to follow that path of thought, and you were going to be like, well, I had a nice talk with Peanut Butter, and it turns out we're either A, going to get into a relationship where it's more meaningful, or B, we're not going to see each other anymore because we want relationships that are more meaningful. That's what I thought you were going with. I didn't even think you were going to turn this into the player is still in consideration.
It's not that he's still in consideration. Let's give you an update, because last week we sort of passed. We passed by my sexual week, right? We talked about what you were going through, even Sarah, and I didn't get a chance to talk about it, and I was okay with that. But so what's happening is this player is coming back, and he's saying all the right things. He's saying and doing all the right things.
Wait,
and he sounds sincere.
A player is saying and doing all the right things. That is so crazy.
Right? Yeah. No, I know. No, he's saying and doing all the right things. However, my trust has been so infringed upon.
Yeah.
That he's got a lot of stops to pull out before I would even consider touching him. The problem is I'm so fucking honest. People call me Crazy Sam. For those that don't know, people call me Crazy Sam. And the only reason that I can conceive that is because I'm so damn authentic and so honest. I'm like autism honest. And
Or
so
just so crazy.
it's crazy to people. It is. I get it. And so I told the new interest that, hey, I'm listening to this ex. I am still in love with him. I know better. However, confusion. I haven't made a decision yet. And I think he just feels like a ball player that's about to get traded. Like I feel like that's what he's feeling like, poor guy. And I feel bad because 2 years, I didn't know I would feel this bad. Put it that way.
Well, it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time to devote to somebody without being devoted to somebody.
Yeah, right. So that's enough about me. I'm gonna figure it out because I'm a big girl.
Yeah, you will.
He understands. But you said that maybe we would end up in a conversation where it was, either I want more or less. Like I want more or it's over. That's not where we are. But I feel like I'm at a crossroad, like a strange Twilight Zone, like bizarro world type of crossroad. I mean, if I get back together with this ex, how fucked up would the second edition be on my book?
Oh yeah. No, I can't wait for that actually. I mean, like that's the thing. Like if this guy inspires you to be creative, there's something to be said for that at least. I mean, do you write jokes about him? Do you write, have you wrote a book? Does he inspire your stage act? I mean, there's maybe, who knows? Bad things do tend to funnel their way into something positive, and so I wouldn't want you to like The Complete Player Volume 2. You know what? He ain't so bad.
He ain't that bad. God, please. I'm fucked up.
Getting Played Again by Samantha.
Getting Played Again. Right. Right. You're tricking me. Oh God. But listen, I'm grown. I got my own shit going, and so I'm not like I said, I'm not in a rush to make any decision, and it's what it is. Enough about me. How's your week been? You and Sarah been struggling. I'm worried about you motherfuckers.
No, we're good. It's just we got busy, and I don't know, we missed some opportunities to have some time together.
Again, another 7 days of missed opportunities.
No. That's what I'm referring to. We didn't have time was passing, and I tend to notice it more than she does. I tend to so I'm like, hey baby, come on, it's been so we got to do something. I mean, what's the deal here, man? And no, I don't know. We had a good. What we did? We had a really good kind of a quasi fight one night.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it led to a couple more, a little talking, and ended up with like one of the best blowjobs I've ever had. So
wonderful! She was making it all up to you. That's the best way to do it to a man.
That's just her way, just of placating me. No, I'm kidding. But that's it was just it's just been a while, and when you go without sex, even if you don't notice it, like if you're not horny or whatever. It interferes with the bond that you have, and then you're more likely to get agitated and fight and so forth. So things been better. We're in Arizona. We're on vacation right now. Technically, I'm on vacation. She's working, but I just discovered something, and I'm going to plug it only because I've never seen it before. This right here is an adult popsicle, like those freezy pop things.
Why is it an adult popsicle?
I never knew these existed. I went to the grocery. We're in an Airbnb, and I went to the grocery store to pick up a few things, and I saw this on a shelf. It's a margarita with tequila in it. And it's like a frozen popsicle. You just cut off the top, and so I'm drunk. Basically, is what I'm telling you.
Hilarious. I'm jealous. As a sober alcoholic, I'm jealous. When you said adult popsicle, I thought it was like in the shape of a dick or some crazy.
Oh yeah, well that would be great too. But
well, good for you.
Yeah, and so we're here. We're in Arizona, and we're here for my Sarah's a tango dancer. It's like it's a tango event for her. Coming out of the pandemic, they do these tango festivals, and coming out of the pandemic, this is actually the first tango festival since last year when everything went to hell and got canceled. So so we're here in Tucson. She's dancing, and I don't know what I'm gonna do really.
All right.
I got to find I got my kids, so I got some freezy pops for me, and I got some non-alcoholic popsicles for her.
I was gonna say keep those separated in the fridge.
And I'm hoping when Sarah comes home from dancing, she'll still be in the mood because I don't want to go another 7 days.
Oh, poor guy. Poor guy.
One of our listeners had this. Yeah, no,
Lisa Holly's a regular at Speak Live Comedy. For those that know, Speak Live Comedy is a non-profit organization formed by comedians for comedians. And we've been functioning 5 years. We'll have our 5-year anniversary in less than a week.
Sounds like a plug for the actual producer of Speak Live Comedy.
It's a secret comedy room in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't hear what you said. You're laughing. Now I want to know.
I said that sounded like a plug from the actual producer of Speak Live.
Right. Yeah, I turned the tone up a little bit, didn't I?
Yeah, because it's a thing that you produce. Take credit for it.
Yeah, it's super fun. I transformed. I pimped out my living room into a comedy room. And it's also a podcast studio. So you're looking into my living room. My background is my living room. And I've been hosting what I call a heavy hitters open mic every Thursday in NoHo in the Los Angeles area, North Hollywood area, for the past 5 friggin' years. And a lot of comedians come and work out their material and grow as comedians. It's a wonderful thing, beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah, no, that's great.
And Lisa Holly just commented in a couple of times, and she's one of what we call our Speak alumni. These are some of our day ones. Yeah, there she is.
It's a speakeasy. So
speakeasy.
She could be your easy alumni. Anyways.
Lisa's super easy in a good way, not a slutty way.
I'm always trying to go there. This is
You catch me in that shit. I get caught up in that shit. Sorry, Lisa.
It's supposed to be a sex podcast,
It is a sex podcast. Okay, so check it out. Speaking of sex, I was trying to figure out my topic. I try to choose my topic based on my guests and sort of what I know about them. And of course, Bill Cosby in the news is being released. And people are torn. It's like some people are pissed and some people are happy.
Yeah.
There's like a whole lot of Black empowerment folks saying that it's good because finally, I guess niggas have,
like Felicia Rashad tweeted, about him being out. It's like it's like she's celebrating the fact,
like celebrating that, because normally when like a Black man rapes a bunch of women, like he's going under the jail. So this is somehow a victory in some people's minds because he didn't go under the jail. In fact, he's out. So maybe we don't get the harshest punishment every time. And so I think that's a celebration. But on the other hand, there's a whole demographic of people saying, but wait, he's a fucking rapist and he's a threat to society. So how is he out?
Yeah, and I'm really mixed on that too, because I'm neither female nor Black. So I feel like my opinion, no matter what it is going to piss people off. But
maybe
I can understand how some people would celebrate his release, but I don't want them to. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It's kind of like this. It's kind of like when OJ got off.
Mm-hmm.
I was younger, much more impressionable, but the victory was like, okay, for some Black people were like, all right, he's probably guilty. But the fact that this guilty Negro got off on murdering 2 white people means that maybe there's progress, because there's a whole lot of motherfuckers, Negroes in jail for way less, that are never going to get out. And that's a tragedy.
And here's the thing, okay? I don't think even though people make it a racial thing, I don't think it is. It's not a racial thing. It's a wealth thing.
I think it is too. I think you're right.
Like OJ got off because he had enough of the money to pay the best lawyers that he could possibly get.
Right.
And the same is true of Cosby. Like, he's getting released because he has damn good lawyers who are looking for every single loophole they can find to try to pull him.
I agree. However, from a symbolism standpoint, when you have a culture of people, Black people, who are sort of in on some levels and in some decades grasping for straws in terms of not only equality but also equity in society. And so even though it may be fully a wealth issue at the start, in the end, in some people's hearts and minds, it does turn out to be a symbol of perhaps progress.
Right. I mean, because there's lots of white people that have been accused of crimes and gotten out on technicalities, or they probably they're probably fully guilty, and then like actually we don't even have to use probably.
Yeah, like for real.
Yeah, we can assume, like Epstein, for example. Right. He died in jail, but before he was put in jail on that account, he was accused and tried, and he had many times in which charges were brought up against him, and he was able to pay them off and get out of it. And then and so like when that happened, we didn't have any white people going, "Yay, one of ours escaped jail,"
because there's no need for that. There's no need for that victory, that celebration.
I know, but you're right. There's no need for that, but there's also, I don't relate to Epstein because he's a rich guy and I'm like a broke white dude. You see what I'm saying? Like, like within the community, I don't relate to Jeff Bezos. I don't relate to Bill Gates. If Bill Gates goes down for some kind of crime and and he is able to bypass the system because of his wealth, like, I don't relate to that. Like, and so that's what I think is interesting in your community, is that there is sort of a relationship. Like, Cosby's one of us, and I wouldn't call Cosby one of us. You know what I mean? I wouldn't.
Right. It's a slippery kind of slope. And I think even for those of us who sort of in some light saw it as a victory, but at the same time was a very morbid kind of victory, right? It does wave a flag that says, hey, this kind of thing could actually happen, as opposed to, like, imagine, like, look at Chauvin, okay, George Floyd. Imagine if, like, fucking D.L. Hughley had, like, choked some white dude out on the street and it got videotaped for 8 minutes. Like, D.L. Hughley would go to jail for more than 22.5 years.
The entire time he's got a hand-rolled cigarette in his mouth.
Right. No cigar. A Colombian. No. Yeah, there are a lot of levels to the shit, and unfortunately for the Black community, there's levels to the intra-racial issues. There are levels to how we are all treated intra-racially. And so even though an issue may be like on level fully about, like, clearly it's about wealth, right? OJ got off because he had the right representation. Right. And Bill Cosby clearly beat the system. He had a good lawyer. He found the loopholes. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what happened. Whether he's guilty or not, he found the loopholes. He worked the system and he won. He's out.
Yeah.
Whether he's a threat to society or not.
So I like, that's, it's cliche for me to say I don't see race, but I don't see it as a race issue. Many people do. I want rapists. I'm a father of a daughter. And as a father of a daughter, I want rapists who have been convicted, who have been shown to be rapists, and convicted, to stay in jail.
I agree.
I don't want rapists. I don't want rapists on the street. I don't want now I'm not going to visit Philly, thanks to this.
Like, I would not let Bill Cosby babysit my daughters.
And Philly's one of my favorite cities, man. Now I can't go there because of this asshole,
Oh, you can go there. You just can't let him babysit your kid. Hey, so listen, I want to bring our guest on today. I'm super excited. I always say that I'm super excited. I'm such a nerd to have this young comedian. He's still young. I met him when I don't know how long he had been doing comedy, but I don't think it was very long. Something like maybe 8 or 9 years ago. And he was a clique that I hooked up with when I re-entered into the comedy world. If you don't know, Brian, I started comedy way back, like 20 plus years ago.
Oh.
And then damn near quit for about 10 years. Okay, I went off and got married. I had some kids and did a whole different type of life and didn't do very much creative at all. And then I came back around to doing comedy. And this guy was one of the first people that I was cruising stages with. You get a click and then you go, you find stages and you go with these people. And so there was a small clique and he was one of them. And then,
he's one you met on the comeback, though.
What's that?
He's one you met on the comeback, not from.
He's one I met on the comeback, and then people tend to go in different directions, and that's what happened. I hadn't been in contact with him in a while, and I just, so it's so amazing when you see a comic at a certain level, and you understand the value of what their potential is, and then you see them like 3-4 years later, and how much they've grown. What a delight. And that's the feeling I get every time I see this guy and talk to him. So a warm welcome to very talented, smart comedian, Tre Stewart, everybody.
Oh, thank you. Oh, wow.
Hey.
What a great intro. Hey, good to be here.
Yeah. Well, it's always personal. I choose my guest. I handpick my guest.
Oh, okay.
So I
It's not random.
It's not random. No.
That's great.
Welcome.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Yeah.
We met. Am I accurate? About
I think so. Yeah.
like 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah. I just moved out here, I think. Yeah. At the Comedy Store. I think that's where we met, right?
At the open mic in the OR, right? We signed up, and you'd just been out in California for
maybe like a few months.
Right.
Yeah.
And had been doing stand-up for
maybe like, not that long, like 2 years.
Is that right?
Yeah, but not like serious. It wasn't really serious until I came out here.
Right.
And then I did it like every night.
And you came from
Detroit.
And did you so you did comedy in Detroit for 2 years? And what was that like?
On and off. It was cool. I didn't really do it. I was too young to get into I was like 16 when I started, and then 19 when I made the decision to move.
Okay.
And then so it was like my mom had to escort me into bars and stuff. It was like, yeah, I couldn't get in there, and then I had to sit with her. So she was like my chaperone.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, she was my original Uber driver.
Mom.
That's hilarious. I mean, what it makes me think of? Like, I wonder what Eddie Murphy's story was when he started. He was about the same age, maybe a little younger, and this could be. It sounds like the making of an epic story. So in that time, it's been about 8 years. I did get a chance. So we hung out for like, I don't know, a couple of years, and then we sort of lost contact. And then I saw you perform, and I was blown away. I don't know, maybe 3 years later, and then I haven't seen you perform since.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm very looking forward to it. I've seen some of your stuff online, right, but not live.
Yeah.
So I remember being impressed when you were opening for Tim Allen.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Tell me about that.
Thank you. That was great. Yeah, Tim was a nice guy, and he took me in. Really nice. His kind of crew saw me and liked me.
Yeah.
And gave me a shot to open up for him at the Laugh Factory, and that's kind of like where I was able to really get audiences, back to back, and because before in LA, if you don't really have a good footing, or we talk about this, if you don't have credits, you're just doing open mics, and like 8 people might be there.
Right.
So Tim exposed me to a full audience, a Republican audience. So it's definitely not what I was used to, but I mean it was good, and
right. The joke's very smart.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. It was it's funny too, because I think I'm never really trying to make a point. Even if I have an opinion, I really just want to make people laugh. But I realized Republicans are actually way easier to make laugh than Democrats. Like in a weird way. Like I'll make fun of Trump to their face, while I'm opening up for 10. It's not like I was like, yo, isn't Trump great?
Right.
I was talking about how stupid he was, but I wasn't calling them Nazis. You know what I mean? So they were able to laugh at it. But so they'll laugh. I've had Republicans laugh at Trump jokes, and I'll try to tell Hillary jokes, and everybody will tighten up. They're like a liberal crowd.
How funny.
Yeah, it's just like, oh no, not my Hillary, and it's like, get the fuck out of here.
So you weren't used to Republican crowds. Were you used to a Democratic crowd?
I was, yeah.
And then so when you would tell the Trump jokes to the Democratic crowd,
well, they would eat it up.
They eat it up. Killer.
Yeah, they would kill it.
But you were surprised to see that. So did the Republican crowd.
Right. Yeah. Because
and you go in.
Yeah. And
for those that don't know, very intelligently, by the way.
yeah. But and then there's a couple of low hanging dick jokes.
Right.
But you got to sprinkle them in there too.
Yeah.
And but I'm like,
but those also highly intelligent.
Yeah. Well, sometimes.
I love it. Yeah. So speaking of, I was talking about our speakeasy. This is
yeah.
Right.
That was a great.
You gotta come back. It's been a minute. You've done it like what, once?
No, I've done it like twice. No, more than twice. I've done it a couple times.
How you say once?
This guy.
I've done it.
Up for Tim Allen. He doesn't need your living room. He's opening up for Tim Allen.
I know. Fuck my room.
Yeah. In fact, I think one night I did. I opened up for Tim and then came here.
Oh, really?
Because
you needed to work out.
I was working out. Yeah. Well,
so that's what a motherfucker calls you when they need your ass.
It was good. This was one of the best rooms, one of the best mics too.
It's a fun space.
I love it. Yeah,
I can't wait to see you perform again. Where are you performing next?
I've been. Well, tonight I'm at the Comedy Nook in West Hollywood.
Okay.
And I'll be, at the Dynasty on Saturday and a couple other. I'm slowly, reintegrating, I guess, into the Hollywood scene because I have been gone, on the road and stuff like that.
So what happened when the pandemic hit last year? I mean, did you just sit at home and
like everybody? Yeah.
With everyone else. And how long did that last? How many months before you started to sort of creep out and go to a lot of secret shows, backyard shows started popping up? How long before you started going to those?
I'd say I gave it about a good 2 months.
Okay.
About 2-3 months where it was like, well, I mean, we all thought we were gonna die.
Right. That's that real comedy hunger right there.
Yeah. It's like, I didn't know what was going on. And then I did a mic, I don't know, in June or something, and I went to San Diego, did some shows, dipped my feet in the water. And then around October, I flew to Boise and did like a week of shows there. And that was like, I was still scared of COVID. But it was just more like, well, I got to get paid. I got to do some shows.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like, that weekend was like, oh, that's cool. And then it didn't really come back until February, actually, of this year. And that's when I went to Texas and was on the road.
Yeah.
And
so
Texas
you're like getting paid and paying your bills from comedy.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. I hate to feel like an old ass MILF bitch. But I'm so proud because you were such a young man when I met you. You were like, what, 20?
Yeah, I was 21.
21, and now you are?
29.
So the math says it's been 8 years.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's grown man status.
I know,
Getting paid for comedy. Do you have you quit your day job?
Yeah, I haven't had a day job in a while. And I just recently started being able to pay bills.
Listen, that says a lot. This is LA shit. Bills are high in a motherfucker. The bills are high in the city.
Yeah.
You guys, I'm telling you, go to Samson. If you're gonna throw his handle up, go to follow this man on social media because he has such a unique brand of comedy. He's bringing something new to the game. I talk a lot about comedians having something special, and he's one of them. And I try to limit my show to these type of guests, by the way. So at Tre Stewart 1. And so you're going out tonight to do a show. Are you going to talk about Bill Cosby?
Probably. Why? Did anything happen? Listen, you can't not talk about it, but I don't know. It just depends on I like to sit in the room and listen because if everyone, you know how it is when something like this happens, everyone wants to talk about it and they all kind of have their own whatever cheap jokes. Nobody has an actual take. They're just kind of reaching and Cosby's out and everybody's like, oh, here comes the pudding pops or whatever. And it's like, all right, let's
the pudding and the prison and
the prison and the pudding and the pudding and the And it's like, you know, I don't want to like start talking about it if they've heard a bunch of like bad Cosby takes. So it depends on where I go up and everything. But if I'm the first to talk about it, then yeah, I mean, you got to. It's like, it's happening as a black, it's splitting the black community. You know, yeah.
I'm torn. I'm kind of a neutral character, but I can understand both sides of the token, because at the end of the day, what I'm saying with Dr. Burke, no matter how fucked up the news story is, if black people are getting above, then maybe it's like as a black person. I've been black for 46 years. Okay, right. Maybe there's a sign that niggas got a chance. Right?
Yeah.
What about?
But at the same time, if he's a sexual predator, like that's fucked up. Like I would straight up dismember this motherfucker. Like protecting my kids. Like on the same token, I feel that adamantly.
Absolutely.
So I know you as a comedian.
Yeah.
You don't play when you go on stage. You work out. You write your jokes.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tackle it delicately, cut the Cosby thing. But I think it is and listen, no matter how you feel about it, it is a step in the right direction. I just mean historically speaking, like not that rape is good or anything, right. But like if what we're going for is equality, you know what I mean? That listen, because I know everybody has made this comparison already, but like we've come so far as a country from a guy whistling at a white woman, getting lynched. Yeah, black man Cosby got away with raping 60 white women. That's progress.
Oh my God.
That's no matter how now you can be mad at it, but it's literally a better place than we want.
Wow.
And I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying it's like, things have been worse. And even with OJ, you made and you guys made a good point where it's about wealth.
Right.
It's more about wealth than it is about being black, but it is a different place for Cosby. And I will say this about Cosby: you can be mad at him all day, but I find it weird that he's vilified for a pattern of behavior that other people are celebrated for. Like what I mean is, if you're mad at Cosby, then wait till you hear a guy by the name of Hugh Hefner.
Oh my!
This guy, I mean, like I don't know if you know about Hugh, what happened at the Playboy Mansion. That was like the fucking, we talk about the Me Too movement. That was like literally a safe haven for getting drugged and women like waking up a little. Cosby learned his technique from Hugh Hefner, and he perfected it. Wow. Yeah, but he was like hanging out at the Playboy Mansion, and they were all drugging women together. Cosby was there. He wasn't the only one, and then Cosby went and took it a little too far. And maybe he's a perfectionist, so that was like the perfectionist in him, where it's like, let me see how far I can take this.
Wow. I mean, who knows the talent, what the thinking was.
But yeah, Hugh Hefner had a lot of accusations.
I would imagine. I mean, it's a kind of a place.
Yeah. Well, where's the documentary about that? Where's the outrage? And
I can't speak. Yeah. Well, actually, I can't wait as soon as they come out with the Bill Cosby documentary. I am watching that shit.
Yeah. But it's like I want them to take. I'll keep that same energy for like, again, you know how many people celebrated Hugh when Hugh died?
Right.
All these people tweeted, a legend is dead and all that stuff. There's stories about, and we talk about Cosby's accusers, and it's like, why do they have more weight than the women who accused Hugh Hefner and all the women who had stories with the Playboy Mansion? It's like, take everybody down. Just take.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, as Black Americans, we want our sexual predators to get a fair deal.
Well, or I want them to go after the other motherfuckers. It's like, take everybody down.
Right, take everybody down.
Yeah, don't
I get you.
Come after.
Right.
And they say that they came after Cosby for buying NBC or trying to buy NBC, which I think is one of the most hilarious conspiracies. I love conspiracies, but that's just so funny. I mean, you think NBC paid and organized these women to lie? Like the people who thought it was a good idea to give Joey his own spinoff from Friends. These are the masterminds. got together. It's like, come on. From the people who brought you the show, Whitney. Remember Whitney Cummings?
Yeah.
She had a show. It's like, I don't know if they organized against Cosby because I think it just Cosby was a gross old man.
He talked about Spanish Fly.
Openly.
Yeah, openly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, which is weird.
There's this gal named Mary, but I tell you when you give her the Spanish Fly, and then no
Yeah.
dialogue. What does that mean? What happened? Bitch got raped. That's what happened. So I was looking into this general topic, and I came across an article. Dr. King, I hope you read it. So they did a study across about 4 or 5 colleges, I don't remember, in the United States, and they took 6,000 people, male, female, and they asked them all kinds of questions about whether they had been roofied, whether they thought they had been roofied or drugged, whether they feel like they had sex when it happened, and whether they had roofied anyone else or knew someone. And there was this huge study, and like 70% of the people studied felt like they had been roofied at one point, at least once in their life. Like me personally, I know it's happened 3 times.
Really?
Yeah, I know it's happened 3 times, and twice once I know that I had sex, and I don't know how many people I had sex with that night.
Oh, really?
Once I know that I had sex, probably I'm thinking about 85% sure with one person, and the third time I scathed the sex. Someone rescued me.
Yeah. Wow.
70% of people.
That's crazy.
Mostly female.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but there's some male in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of male. But listen, here's the funny thing. The people that are doing the roofing, when men roofie, there's a large percentage that are hoping for sex, but aren't necessarily going after the sex. That's not why they're roofing. They're roofing for fun, just to have a good time.
Yeah.
And then when women roofie, we're looking for the dick.
Right.
Apparently.
That's the word. Listen, what a waste of a roofie if you're not gonna like go after it. Like, you're just out here giving away free roofies. What are you doing? And they're expensive. It's not like it's a cheap drug, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not cheap. I don't know. I would assume. Maybe.
The guy that did the roofing, who I suspect did the roofing, all of these guys were rich in my life.
That's always been my assumption, is that roofies are expensive.
Again, Dr. Frank King.
I said that's always been my assumption, is that roofies are expensive, and like you're not going to waste it just like roofing random strangers, you know,
just for fun.
Yeah, it's like,
it could be that all these men were like lying on this survey in the study.
So there's not lying per se, although there is some of that. This is a anonymous web survey that people conducted. So there's no incentive to lie. You know, I mean, some of them will, because that's just the nature. You know, I'm gonna tell them whatever they want. You know, but there's no incentive to lie. And when people lie in the same pattern, well, that's not ever gonna happen. So if people answer in the same pattern, it's probably not gonna be a lie. You know, so if most people say this and then say this and then say this and then say this, you know, there are ways to determine if we can trust the results. You know, but that said. You know, we're still looking at self-reported surveys. We're still looking at people saying, I think that I was roofied, and the way it was stated was that, you know, in the past year, somebody, you know, I feel like I was roofied, or I know somebody who thinks that they've been roofied. There's no, you know, there's no corroboration. There's no, like, we found,
it's been hearsay.
You know what I mean? There's nothing. And, you know, I have a situation in my own background. I think I was roofied once. You know,
wow.
What happened, Brian?
I can guarantee you the person probably wasn't looking for sex, but I was at a bar in Tijuana, Mexico, and it was a strip club, but it was a bar, and as I would buy a drink, one of the dancers who sat down really close to me would, like, you know, indicate to the bartender, and the bartender was like, here's a free shot of tequila, and she would, you know, she like, we would both have one, and she would knock hers back and like encourage me to drink mine, you know, and it didn't taste like tequila. Didn't taste like any tequila I ever had.
She was trying to rob you, maybe?
I was going to be robbed.
Right.
My brother
Right.
was with me. My brother was with me at the time. We were both in Tijuana, and we were both getting served these free tequila shots. However, like as naive as we could be, I'm drinking it, and he's like, I don't like tequila, so he says no. And
She was about to Cardi B your ass.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I heard about that. Cardi B does that.
Oh, I know.
Or did that.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I've never done that.
I was straight up roofied. My brother had to actually drag my ass out of that bar and into our car to leave because
I would look over the guy that was passed out, some rich bloke, and search his pockets and see the money and then put it back.
What? Why wouldn't you just take it?
I know.
Just take it. You want to see if it's there? It's like,
I have no idea. I was just like, damn, I entertained the thought, like, yeah, I guess this is what bitches do. It'd be pretty easy, but no, I never stole. Well, I was a thief. I stole a lot of shit when I was a kid, and then I grew up.
Well, so it's interesting that society is okay with roofing as long as you just steal from them. It's like the second you get sexual, then we're like, whoa. But Nikki was like, a lot of people have opened it, but Nikki
that's funny. I laughed at that out loud. However, I'd much rather be robbed than raped.
Oh,
I mean, wouldn't
absolutely.
you? Like,
I don't want to be. Don't roofie anybody. I was like, let's just have a hard line.
If you wake up, you want to wake up with your empty pockets. You want to wake up in a hotel room and find your clothes in the bathtub, nigga.
I don't want to wake up. I want to wake up in my bed after a restful night of not being roofied. That's where I like to wake up. It's period. No one can roofie anyone. There's no well, if you got to roofie me, at least you can just take my Jordans. No, let me have my Jordans and don't fuck me in the ass. Right. It's what is happening? They're both bad.
I agree.
Well, because it's then we're going levels. And it's all right, so what Cosby did was really bad, but now let's talk about Louis C.K.
Right.
So he's off the hook because it's either there's things you can't do, regardless, or it's well,
is it the
that's
same?
okay.
I mean, did he roofie the bitches before he masturbated in front of
them? No. I think it's definitely a hierarchy, but a lot of people would say they would lump Louis C.K. in with Cosby, which I wouldn't.
Well, for those who don't know, Louis C.K. was accused of masturbating in front of other female comedians.
I think I don't know if I think it's verified he did that.
Yeah,
he admitted it.
I believe he did it. I mean,
he had a hilarious bit about it.
Yeah, no, he did it. He talked about it. And he apologized for it. He did it. He admitted it right away. But he's also white, so there you go. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's wealthy.
He's wealthy.
That doesn't factor in. That was a joke. Yeah.
Bill Cosby's wealthy. Bill Cosby beat the system. I was talking to someone yesterday evening, a girlfriend of mine, and I was on the verge of being mad that he was and I'm like, if you're dangerous, you're dangerous. How fucked up is it that
Well, is he still a threat to? I thought the whole problem is that he did it, and so he has to pay for his crime. He's not a threat now.
Why would he stop doing that? Why would he not continue doing that?
I don't listen.
You assume that he won't ever do that again.
If you get, look, I don't know what to tell you.
That's
if you're hanging around Cosby, that's like Michael. That's like after Michael Jackson went through the whole thing.
If I go hang out,
your kids with Michael Jackson,
I want to get roofied.
No, with parents leaving your children with Michael Jackson after.
But it's kind of like bear, like wilderness, like animals in the wild. Right, coyotes come down into our marketplace when they get hungry. So if he's out of prison now,
Bill Cosby
and nobody's coming around because they don't want to get roofied,
right?
Then he's gonna come out into the marketplace, and who knows? That's the question.
All you gotta do is lock Cosby in a room. He's not gonna be able to get out and hide the key somewhere. He's what are you talking about? He's not gonna. He can't do anything. He's not gonna. Plus,
they said that he was about to go see today.
Yeah.
He was about to go see his wife Carmen, I think, after not having seen her for 3 years.
That's fine. He can see his wife.
But I just wonder what her attitude is gonna be like. Bitch, why haven't you come to visit your husband in 3 years?
I don't know. She's probably mad.
She can lock his ass in the room and throw the key out the window.
Well, listen.
If he offers
just hide
the cane, you better not offer her a drink. That's all I'm saying.
If you go out, for drinks for Cosby, I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
It's like, I
Right.
really don't. It's
yeah. Oh my God, that's a different show. We should bring you back for part 2 because it depends on how old you are. Because there's some silly bitches out there in their 20s.
No, I seriously doubt. I mean, that's like what we're talking about is like if OJ murdered more white people. You know what I mean? It's like he's not a threat in that way. He already did it. Which, by the way, maybe he didn't do it, but that's another podcast.
You guys, check out comedian Tre Stewart. Very funny guy, clearly. Wow. Where can they find you? So say again where you're going to be performing tonight.
The Comedy Nook in WeHo. And you can follow me on, Tre Stewart, number 1, TRESTE, WART, 1, just the number 1. And I post all my shows there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got some shows this weekend and doing the Hollywood thing. And I'll be here. I'll come here.
You come here. Next? Yeah. It's tonight. It's every Thursday.
It's tonight?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll come back.
Tonight. I like how you pronounce all of your T's.
It's tonight. Okay. Well, let's do it.
Yes. And for those who want access to the show, you're going to have to hit me up on my social media. My social media is I Overdo It, of course, because I overdo everything that I do. And Dr. Brian King, you can find him at Dr. Brian King.
Dr. Brian King. I didn't even get to see his shirt. I wanted to see, you talked about how he looks. I can't even see him.
He has a burgundy t-shirt.
Yeah, you can't even see me. That's the thing. I hardly ever plug gigs on this podcast, but if anybody wants to come see me, I'm doing a special benefit show at a winery in Durango, Colorado. Yeah, like we have a lot of followers in Durango, Colorado. But if anybody wants to see it next Thursday, I'll be there and headlining that show. But it's a good show. It's a good cause, and I'm really looking forward to it. And it's like the end of my little vacation. So we're in Arizona, then we go to Colorado. I do a big show, and then we head back to Texas. So
Colorado.
Yeah, it's all for the kid. It's all I got to keep my kid entertained.
Your baby is so damn fancy. I can't stand it. She's so cute. Hey, listen, Dr. Brian King and I are also, not only are we comedians, but we're science authors. Dr. Brian King writes a lot more books than I do, but we both have books on the market. I have a book called The Complete Player, which talks about the brain science behind love, sex, addiction, and heartbreak. And you can find it on Amazon. You get the you get the ebook and the paperback. And Dr. Brian King wrote a book called The Art of Taking It Easy, which is becoming highly successful right now. We're super excited for all the success that he's had, not only in the United States, but in Canada and especially in Germany. Brian, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, this book it's an international bestseller, and it was on the bestseller list in Germany for about 2 months solid.
Das ist sehr gut.
So I have all these new German and Polish fans that follow me on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and stuff. And I literally have no content to communicate with them because I don't speak either of those languages. But I appreciate them for buying my book.
Yeah, it's funny. I wish my book were translated into German. I speak a little German. Ich nehme Deutsch in meiner Schule für 7,5 Jahre. I took German in school for about 7.5 years.
Oh, damn.
Now I'm just showing off, but I'm super excited about the success of your book. I read his first book, The Laughing Cure. Was that your first book?
Yeah, that was my first one to hit nationally.
Yeah. It was a very good book. He wrote about the science of laughter and how you smile first and then you're happy. It's a very interesting take, and it was very academic and of course funny. And then once you read this book, you realize really how important laughter is in your life and in terms of your well-being, mentally and physically. So fascinating book, The Art of Taking It Easy, everybody. The Complete Player. You guys, thanks again for comedian Tre Stewart. What a great interview.
Thanks for having me.
We had lots of fun. Guys, again, thank you to Dr. Brian King. This has been another case of the King-Abrams Show.